Okay, good morning. Ashish, I'm audible to you? Ashish or anybody? Akshay Naik, I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. You keep on responding to me regularly. Read the chat box questions and respond to me. Okay, mute your mic now, right? So we are in the chapter number 1. We are going through the software engineering processes and all. Then tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I'll be taking a class, right? Please keep ready first 2 hours of morning, okay, where we get into critical systems, right? This is what the coverage that we are doing. And also, if you look at that, the in-class question bank, okay, recorded by CRs, right? Red colored marked questions, okay, they are very important thing in the sense from industry readiness, right? So please look, it doesn't mean that black colored things are not good, right? No, black colored things are theoretical things, whereas red color things, it gives some, okay, kind of challenge to your mind, okay, work on that. So please, okay, prepare that one so that you can be comfortable in placement if software engineering related issues have been asked, right? There are many such things that we have put it. Okay, please go through. This will be a questions will be put by CRs, right? It is developed based on the in-class discussion. Now coming to the session today, the content of the session, right? See, yesterday, I mean, in the last class, we have gone through the waterfall model, okay, and its limitations, right? What are the shortcomings of classical waterfall model? Then how do we deal with this, right? We go with the other one is called iterative development. Okay, as you understand, why do you go for iterations? Okay, probably, right, you go for the iteration where you are not sure, right? Or the things is very complex which you cannot deal, right? Or it could be the business requirement itself. Maybe could be financial aspects may be involved in that. There are a number of reasons. And basic principle of in iterative development, you know about that, right? How do the fruit grow in a tree? The initially a small one, then keeps on adding its own layers on the top of that one, and you grow, right? So you develop an initial system, right? Could be prototype kind of things, or could be a small architectural component without any functional stuff much in that. Then you interact with the customers and try to get input, and input will be in the form of a requirement. Then you redesign, add a design components, okay, then implement it, deploy it, and I can keep on doing this one. This is the basic principles of an, okay, iterative development you go through in this. There are many reasons why do you go for that, right? So unless is okay, design implement, okay, or design implement, analyze what is that is there, and again keep on doing it. This is the basic fundamental things about that. But under this iterative process, there are two different models that you come across. I'll give an example. Wait for that interesting thing. One is, okay, prototyping. The other one is incremental development. Right now, let me take about the incremental development. The question is again incremental development. Okay, it's a kind of an iterative kind of things. When you look at the whole system, okay, you develop increment one, you develop increment two, probably increment one and two. If they are dependent on that one, okay, you need to do some kind of integration properly and all these things. That's how there are different increments gets into. The question is, right, in every increment, please look at that. Every increment is of small in nature, maybe around 10 to 20,000 of line. Every increment focuses on one use case of a product. The use case you understood is nothing but the functionality. For example, okay, I want to develop a system for banking system, or I want to develop a system for institution. What I do, okay, the student registration module, I develop it. That's one increment. You develop it, release it, right? Then go for the next increment, the student registration to the courses. That's one increment, that's one functionality, right? So usually it is around 10 to 20,000 lines of code and all these things. Okay, you develop it, that becomes increment one. Then you take examination module, okay, develop it, that becomes increment two, right? Increment three, like this, you keep on developing it, right? And every increment, okay, you need to have a analysis, you need to have a requirement, software requirement specification, right? Then you need to have a design, coding, testing. Okay, this all everything will be there in every increment. Got it. So the question is, why do you go for this kind of an incremental development, okay, in product development? The reasons are many. Look at that. So I am a developer and you are a customer, right? And I come with the proposal, or you come with the initial proposal saying that it is a worth of, okay, 1,000 crores, 1,000 crores, and you ask for the tender and all, people apply, and you people select me. I'm new, I'm new to you, but you select me, and you are new to me. Okay, first time you are a client to me and all. Now we are doing with increment model. I decide to go for increment model. The reason is, you say that this project is 1,000 crores or spread over 10 years, right? But your budget for this time is, okay, only, okay, 10 crores. So though the entire product is given to me with the condition that, right, this you develop a part of this, having developed this successfully, we accept it because you are new to me, right? I need to understand you. Okay, you need to be a reliable developer and all, right? Your quality, your accuracy, your precision, okay, that I need to understand. So whole project is there, right? But on paper we are giving this particular increment because though it is a 1,000 crore project, okay, we have budgeted for only 10 crore this week, this year, right? It is spread over 10 years and all, right? Under this circumstance, okay, the financial constraints, I go for increment. I do not develop everything, put all my workforce on that, develop, okay, things parallelly. No, I don't do that. I pick one particular increment with a high priority, right, for the customers. I develop it, which fits in this year budget, though the total overall project sanctioned is 1,000 crores. This is one of the reason. The second reason I told you that one, okay, though it is a 1,000 crore project, right? So I'm a new, right? I mean, you being a client, you don't want to, okay, take a risk of, okay, everything. So you do not get into business contract, but however you say that, okay, this increment you develop it, then having got successfully done, having understood, okay, we understanding you, okay, we in the sense client understanding you in the sense, like a developer or the uh, industry who has taken this contract, okay, through this increment one, they can strengthen their relationship. They can strengthen their understanding of each other in terms of their competency, capability, resources, manpower, right? Everything. So you go for, you give it only one increment for them, though you have a contract for the whole, okay, a system with 1,000 crores. This is another reason. The third reason is, right, being a developer. Okay, I'm not also not sure about that, right? Okay, that client and all, right? Because there are a lot of dispute between the developing team, I mean industry, and the client and all these things. So what I do is, right, in order to establish my brand, in order to understand that how good are the customer, maybe in terms of financial things and all other things, right? You go for one increment, you develop it, right? This is another third reason. Another thing is that one, it is so complex, huge, right? So probably I may not have a manpower fully deploying that one. Okay, to match with their financial, okay, distribution over 10 years, whatever that is there. Got it. So what I can do is with this, okay, team that's available, okay, I go for 1 year contract and release this particular increment. Okay, this iteration I go through, then in the next iteration I pick up another thing and develop it. So incremental model, okay, sounds good under both industry perspective and the client perspective. It gets into, and every increment is small, and you feel that when you develop increment, add it, you feel that things are being developed, there is a progress that is being made. So you do not deploy everything, you deploy part of that, you deploy part of that so that you both of both developer and client feel that one, okay, there is a progress, we have deployed it, we have automated things, we have transformed, right, our business, okay, using, okay, automation, whatever that is being developed. That's an advantage of increment. So the question, when you look into that in our in class, okay, see in class, whatever that we have added, question bank and all, right? Look at that, how added, though it is a duty of this year, I've added. Illustrate from business scenario perspective. It could be any business scenario. What I explained right now, the need for iterative development. Please remember, why do we need iterative development? Right? Please go through the book, and bookish kind of things you're not supposed to write. I develop, okay, I go for one of the model of iterative is increments. Okay, you can go for iterative in the sense, okay, in a bracket, you can have a incremental model. Right now it is incremental model, right? Okay, we will add it other model as and when we see it, right? So when you go for this, why, okay, why incremental model? Can you tell me one business scenario and explain why incremental model? Right? Please do not get attached with okay, theoretical stuff that's given in any of the book. If illustration business scenario is given, then it's a good thing. Now, just now I spoke about the business scenario, right? So, any question at this stage? Ashish, you can read. Ashish, you can read any question put in a chat box. In a chat box, you can put always a question. You need not wait. Ashish,
Yeah, yes.
any questions?
Yes, yes.
Is it clear to all?
Uh,
Is it clear to all? Why incremental model? What are the reason you go for okay, incremental model? Right? That's. I'll proceed with my presentation. Ashish, if there are no question, if any question you get it, you okay, stop me. I'll get into okay,
yes.
right. That's good.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So this is about the incremental model. Now, please remember what did we learn from that? What is the incremental model? Explain this, that, and all. These are theoretical stuff, right? My question is, why do you go for incremental model? Prepare a business scenario and explain. Prepare a business scenario and explain why do you go for increment model. This is understanding. Please go through that. Every course, every topic, everything you learn, try to understand through okay, a few things like a why. What is this? Why it is this? Why not? That will go to the deeper learning. What is that? What's your name? My name is Umakant. All right. Simple. You don't understand anything from that, right? What do you mean by, okay, what is the meaning of the name Umakant? That takes you to the deeper learning. Can you give five different names which are equivalent to your name? That further it takes into deep into this one. Then I'll say that one at some point of time, okay, prove that Umakant is a name of the Vishnu. How can it be? But can you prove it? That is the deepest form of any learning that you do, right? What is incremental model, right? Why it is required? Can you prepare a business scenario and explain you being the developer, architect, analyst, okay, or business analyst, you go, or the project manager, okay, or the CEO, you go for incremental model of contract with, okay, a client. Can you come out with a business scenario? Right, why it is so, right? Preparing a report, preparing answer is also okay, very tricky, right? It includes writing skills, it includes imagination and all, right? So that's how it's going to help you for doing projects also, right? So when, if I'm an evaluator, I ask you that one, okay, you pick a particular project, then ask that one, what are the different functionality in that? Every functionality could be an okay increment. Functionalities are nothing but use cases, right? Use cases are nothing but the functionality of the system, and that makes the whole system. right? And pick every use case, develop it. Pick a second use case, develop it, and try to integrate, resolve it. That's how, okay, the iterative process gets into one of the increment model that what we are thinking about, right? So you need to have a proper visualization in terms of compartmentalizing, right, whole product features, right? And every compartment could be, I'm saying that, okay, an increment, right? So in this way, okay, you go for incremental model, right? Another thing we quickly get into prototyping, right? This is the another important thing. People talk about the prototyping. Look at that. Ashish, you cannot done. Okay, what is prototyping, right? Explain, right? The business scenario, right? Prepare a business scenario to explain how you go for prototyping this, right? Now, what is the prototyping? You all people know that one prototype is not reality, right? You wanted to build a satellite. Say in library in our college, we have a, okay, prototype of a satellite. Now, when you talk about the prototype, okay, there may not be any functionality built into that. It will give a feeling of look and feel. Say, for example, I wanted to, okay, even sometimes customer may not be knowing what is to be done. So user interface, you take it, the best example which you can realize, right? How do you wanted user interface, right? What kind of an user interface that you wanted, right? In that case, probably, right, the customer says, I don't know about that. I don't know, right? So in that case, how do you go for that? You will build something, user interface. Look at that. Submit button is here. Okay, text box is here. Layout is this. Color combination is this. Is it okay? Is it that you, okay, expect the input to be given to your system? Client is not clear, and you are understanding as an analyst. How do you go for that? You go for prototype, right? When there is no clarity, okay, for the client, and you as analyst, when you are interacting, you also don't get a clarity of the client's mind. So you develop a prototype and say that one, look, right, is it what you need? But there are no functionality, or there may be few functionality may be put into that, or and whenever you put a few functionality, there may be, okay, shortcuts, lot of shortcuts may be there. Are you getting this? It gives a feeling about this. So you develop a prototype, and sometimes, okay, you understand that you develop in other language, not actually the platform used for actual development. Probably that server, the timing, okay, may be very costly. So you use a desktop in some other tool used for prototyping and all, right? You develop it using Visual Basic or some Java and all, right? And put into that one and tell them, is it what is required? If a people says it's all right, then actual, right, you captured their requirement of user interface. You captured the requirement that how computation to be done, how you captured the requirement, how report is to be prepared, but there is nothing as such. They're all dummy. Then the real development in true environment it gets into, right? So this is how, okay, you go for that. That is the purpose of, okay, prototyping. Okay, let me take you some of the black and white textbook versions of this, right? Prototype is a toy implementation of the system. Okay, it exhibits limited function capability, low reliability, inefficient performance because they are not, okay, concerned. Right? Sometimes you develop a prototype and throw it. It is throwaway prototype. Are you getting it? Right? So, or sometimes you develop a prototype in understanding the customer client, their requirements, and continue developing it if at all agreed upon. That also may happen. It may be throwaway prototype, otherwise you develop it. Right? Sometimes you develop a prototype where, okay, horizontal features of all the product that you look into. Right? So product should have a student registration module, examination module, right? And all these things you put it, right? And all dummy things are there. Okay, user interface, everything appear. You click it, something will come, but truly no computation being done. This is something like a stub and skeleton. We talk about that, right? So dummy function you put into that, right? So That's horizontal capturing of prototyping. Vertical, you pick student registration module, develop everything there. There is no stuff in that, right? Whole registration module is seen. You click it, some report generated, some input is captured, no computation done. Dummy computations are put in the report. You feel that, oh, system is working. There is nothing inside. Okay. The reason going for this is that I told you, right? You try to understand the requirements, because uh, there is one problem statement. I'll try to put it today, right? It is a very popular uh, uh, problem definition from the database course taken, right? A customer says that, one, okay, I'm doing a business and I want to extend my business in future, but I don't know what kind of business I'm going to do it in future. Develop a software for this. Now this kind of things sometimes it may get into. Okay, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? I wanted an extension feature, but I don't know, right? I want to collect input so that it computes and generates a grade card, but what all the different assessment tool you use, I don't know. It should include all, but what all, I don't know. A client maybe sometimes, okay, blunt as, okay, saying that, one, right, I don't know. Then you need to interact with that. That's the role of an analyst. Okay, that's the role of an analyst. Okay, one has to, okay, get into all these things. 1 minute, just 1 minute. Yeah. Ashish, I'm audible. Ashish, Ashish, I'm audible. Ashish.
Yes, you
Okay.
are audible, sir.
Okay, right. Okay, that's important. And look at that. Somewhere it is being said that here uh, a prototype is usually built using several shortcuts. Please remember, when you have a shortcuts, there may not be any programming stuff in that. No computation element, dummy computation, right? I read your marks, simply say that you are yes grade. Okay, there is no actual computation, because I want to see how inputs are given, how report will appear. The output, whatever I show you, they are not true output. They are inaccurate. They are, okay, wrong things. They are dummy sometimes, right? All kinds are being used, okay, to understand, okay, client develop our understanding. It is a crude version of actual system. When I say crude, okay, it could be any level of, okay, things, okay, you can missing components, you can see it, right? So you don't look into performance, you don't look into accuracy of the result, right? You don't look into true anything other than understanding what is the product features and all. Other than that, there is nothing, right? Now look at that. There are several use of prototypes. I already are described. Now let's look at the things. How the screen might look like. I don't know. You are a developer, you ask me, I'm repeating this. I don't know how, but I want a good screen. I want the best screen. Tell me what is the best. I don't know. You develop it, right? You go for prototype. How the user interface should behave. I don't know. How the system would produce an output, reports. I don't know. I want a good reports. I want a good layout, right? I want a good color combination. What is a good color? Do you like a blue color? There is an official color. There is a acceptable color, light blue color. Do you like it? No. No, I don't know. Screen should be good. That's all. So under such circumstances, you go for prototyping. Right? These are all again business scenario I'm talking. Right? Business scenario. Please look into that. So basically, you go for prototyping for better understanding of customer needs. So look at that scenario, business scenario. User requirements are not complete, right? Look at that in any application software like billing in retail shop, accounting in a firm, etc. The user of the software are not clear about the different functionalities required. See, they are end users. They are very good in their domain. But when you ask that one, what is that exactly you wanted? They said, whatever I'm doing, everything it should come. What you are doing, you please look into that. That when they express that when there are a lot of missing functionalities, then they later they say, I wanted this. So you're not a capture, you're not designed. Then you have to go back and capture that one, redesign, right, and change your code. So going back is not permitted in, okay, what you can say, waterfall model. Okay, that's why you go for iterative model. In that, we were talking about incremental model. Now we are talking about the prototyping. Technical issues are not clear, right? Technical issues are not clear. Say project, suppose a project involves writing a compiler and development team has never written a compiler. Look at that. It is not only the client side, it is the customer side, I mean, developer side also. Okay. Uh, in that case, how do you go for that? System software laboratory exercises are there. Fifth exercise is the one which is defined by me. I'll capture tomorrow and put it in that. How do you develop it? If you showcase the fifth term work, right, in software, system software laboratory, then you are the great engineer. Otherwise, not. So please aim for that. That is a mini project kind of things. That is defined by me, right? You are not sure of a compiler. You are not done before. So what you do is when you develop a prototype, you take a simple language, develop it. Is it that you wanted? Customer says that yes, yes, you understood by the time. You don't know, you understood it. So it is helps, okay, developer also to understand the domain sometimes. This is the best example. And your misunderstanding, you try to resolve, right? Now here you develop a prototype, then keep on extending it to the different construct of a given programming language. So look at that. These are all business scenario. When we talk about the business scenario, right, don't think that the great things that we are putting, complex things we are putting. It could be 2 3 line, okay, explaining about. Now here is a business scenario, right? Suppose a project involves writing a compiler and the development team has never written a compiler. Is a scenario, right? So I develop a prototype by considering simple language, right, and interact with the customer. Is it that what they wanted, like input, output, computation, and all? And thereby I understand because this is the first time I'm writing compiler. It could be first time on technology, first time on the domain, okay, or the first time the customer interaction. For a customer, it's the first time that you are the, okay, industry developer, right? So you go for prototype. Or customer says, I don't know, right? Or they don't know how to express them clearly. You go for prototype. Please remember, software engineering is not theoretical. Software engineering is an outcome of experience of doing it. What I'm saying is an experience. Got it? So in term work, you get experience, should get. In doing mini project, you should get experience. That's why do it, you get an experience. If you don't do it, if you copy, probably, okay, you are killing your future. The choice is yours. You may copy, get good marks than the original person. May happen. You may feel proud. Look, how did I got this? But what is that? You are killing your capability, competency. You become a useless when you join industry. But the person who has done originally but unable to express, he got less grade and all, right? But he is going to shine later because he has done everything and he's got an experience. So I request, my dear students, everything do on your own, whatever it may be, right? However complex it is, nothing is complex if you start doing it. So another model of okay, iterative kind of things. No, these are all different flavor, right? Now look at that. Okay, there are different phases of uh, product development. Okay, as I have told you. Okay, let me put marking on this now. Right, it could be objectives, right? It could be, right. Now look at that. Customer evaluation. I mean, here identify and resolve risk. It could be develop next level of product. It could be customer, okay, evaluation of a prototype, or it could be you have a requirement, you have a design, right? You have a, okay, development, right, or implementation, right? You have a, okay, validation. right? These are the okay four phases in a broad. You can take it for simplicity, right? Now what you do is you have nothing, right? You have a smaller thing, okay, build initial concept with a very small requirement, very small design, very small implementation, very small validation. Once you develop it, it could be, I mean, it could be prototype, it could be whatever that is there. Then what you do is, having released this, what you do is you, right, go for keep on making it grow in terms of requirement, in terms of design. Its volume you grow, its complexity you grow, your requirements you grow, your design gets added, right? I mean, keep on adding it. All these phases you keep on visiting until all requirements are being captured and put into that one. This is a spiral model, right? Many times we do this. Many times we do this. How do the fruit grow in plant? In a spiral model only, right? Right? Sankramana, you know that all festival we celebrate from okay, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Sankramana, where the sugar, okay, balls, small sugar balls we exchange. Got it? How it is being developed in the kitchen room, do you know? Right? Okay, there, okay, liquid sugar is being prepared. Then you have small seed, you fry that one and keep on putting the sugar liquid on that, keep on frying it. It develops a small layer, then again on the top layer it keeps on growing and becomes small sugar balls with spikes on that. Are you getting it? So how, right, all the phases, right? Let me tell you about that. 1 minute. um, I'll use different color now. Now look at that. You have a requirement phase, you have got the design phase, you have got the implementation phase, you have got a validation, right? Check with the sugar ball which you are going to prepare, right? It is small seed, there is nothing. Some layer is being added, some layer is being added. Okay, all that activity will go requirement, design, implementation, validation. Then now this is the sugar ball ready. Got it? This is a spiral model we speak about, right? So there are okay different perspectives people put into that one. One is identify. What to identify? Could be requirements, could be customer needs, right? Could be whatever that is there. And I told you risk analysis. Is it risk when you talk about that? Some reason for which the stated requirements are not being fulfilled, right? We will see that later, right? Planning involves, right, your requirement preparation, your design, and all these things. Construction, implementation, release it could be incremental release, it could be prototype release, right? Okay, prototype, I told you, throw away prototype, carry forward prototype. There are two types of prototype, right? Two types of okay, different types of prototype. Explain the different types of prototype and illustrate, right? Illustrate by picking up appropriate business scenario, right? All the types whatever being mentioned, you can record, Ashish. Then look at that customer evaluation. They evaluate your increment, they evaluate your prototype, whatever that is there, right? And communication, communication to developer, right? And keeps on moving it, right? So, so this is out of the practice people have to get into, right? Now what is time that I look into that? Oh, still time is there. Any, this is okay. What we spoke about, different things in, right, see all those things we have seen it as a part of software process models. What are these? What are the advantage, disadvantage? Why do you go for this, right? So this is the process, development process, which we were talking from the first class, right? Hope you understand. In software process, right, there are many things. Product engineering, process management process is a development process, we have said it. There may be project management process, we will say it. There may be configuration, we will say it. right? So there may be process management process itself. All these processes are being managed. How do they are being done? We'll see this. All these things, right? So please refer. And also please note down, Ashish, different types of testing. List and explain the following. Alpha testing, beta testing, acceptance testing, integration testing, unit testing, all these things to be added. You add it crude way, I'll correct all those things in class question bank. So refer the book, please read every line of that, because many times question paper setting will go to the outside people. Sometimes outside people, rather than focusing the real life examples, they focus from the book also. So whatever that is book is there, some term they pick it and put it here. Okay, explain this. Right? You should be in the position to explain every term used in the textbook. Please go through that. Now we are moving to the other aspects, right? Professional ethic and ethical responsibility of a software developer. Why software developer? Any employee, right? Any individual, right? In our vision statement, we have something called human values. Do you remember that? So it can be called as a human values. All professionals are human beings. Now look at confidentiality. Any role that you are performing, you need to maintain confidentiality. You are not supposed to share with others. Could be friends, could be relatives, whatever that is there as an employee of an organization. Because your family members, relatives may be employees of other organization, and you leaking your confidentiality of your business probably hamper your business, okay, and all. That's unethical. Competence. Okay, you should not misrepresent your level of competence. Please look into that. Right? I'm so and so, I can do it, I can do this and all. Finally, you miserably fail. Your product fails. Okay, you produce a product with a lower, okay, capabilities, accuracy, precisions, performance, and all. Right? You should not misrepresent your level of competence. You should not knowingly accept work that is outside your competence. Both are equally true, right? You should not misrepresent your level of competence, and you should not accept any work outside your competence. There are many people, we see that one, right? Oh, I can do it. I can do it. Sir, I can do it. Okay, professor, I can do it. Then they accept it. And when you look at that, okay, low performing work, right? Intellectual property rights. Remember, you should be aware of local laws governing use of intellectual property, patents, copyrights, and all. Right? If any of the okay copyrighted things if you are using in your design, okay, you should be careful about that. Otherwise, you'll pay penalty in the court, and many companies have paid. Right? Computer misuse, right? You should not use your technical skills to misuse other people's computer. When I say computer misuse, hacking, right? Getting, retrieving files, seeing all these things, right? They're all bad things. So you see, once in SDM Engineering College, okay, a great person from Ramakrishna Ashram, he was invited, and he said that one, okay, Sir Vishweshwarya was a great engineer because he was a great human being. Very rarely we'll find it, right? So these are all human values: confidentiality, competence, intellectual property rights, computer misuse. You should not misuse. Are you getting this? Right? So there may be question. List and explain different professional ethical responsibility. That's how some people, if they theoretically set a question paper, this is how from the textbook you get it. Right? So please read every term. Sometimes during relating with the real life examples, we may miss some of such black and white given in the textbook. You are supposed to, right? Or list, I mean, explain, okay, the following, okay, a responsibility of a professional. They're all theoretical things. Now look at that. Okay, there are certain standards. ACM and IEEE, okay, task force, joint task force, software engineering and professional practice. Right? So please go to that. Theoretically, this kind of question may also get it. List and explain. List various professional practice mentioned by ACM and IEEE's Joint Task Force. Public, now look at that. Software engineers shall commit themselves to making the analysis, specification, design, development, testing, and maintenance of a software a beneficial and okay respected profession. Right? Look at the different parameter. Public software engineers shall act consistently with the public interest. Client and employer. Software engineers shall act in a manner that is in the best interest of their client and employer consistent with public interest. See, our constitution also says we take oath, particularly politicians also take the oath, right? I preserve, I maintain the integrity. Now look at that judgment. Software engineers shall maintain the integrity and independence in their professional judgment. Integrity. They maintain integrity of their team, integrity of okay their company and all. You have to when you change a job, fine. This you need not carry forward whatever you know and okay, express the public. But experience is different. But copying the manuals, taking it as it is, putting there, pushing there, right, leaking certain trade secrets and all, this is not a good human values. Sir M. Vishweshwar was a great engineer because he was a great human being. Remember that. Software engineers shall advance the integrity and reputation of the profession consistent with the public interest. Colleague, software engineers shall be fair to and supportive to their colleagues. Self, software engineers shall participate in lifelong learning. Remember, in industry, people says you don't know Python. Coming Monday, day after tomorrow, you will be working in a different team with a Python. Sunday is one day, learn and be ready. So that kind of an experience. That's why assignments are self-learning assignment. You search, do it. You build a capability, right? In next 5 minutes, session is going to close, right? Automatically it closes. Fine. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock we'll be having a class. 9 to 11 or 10:30. There will be 2 sessions. Please come and join, right? I'm going to demonstrate a beautiful example. We used one somewhere in a process model, right? The reuse model. Okay, how to develop a reusable components. I'm going to demonstrate that. All of you, please join without fail. That's why I will be taking a 2 hours in a stretch, right? That will help you to prepare yourself for the industry. And there will be one assignment in advanced Java programming on that. I'll be asking concerned course teacher to include that, right? How do I develop a reusable components? Experience. If you want me to give an experience little beyond textbook, right, you have to come for extra class. Or CRs can discuss with the people, no, 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 we want only textbook, cover it, no extra class, right? So decide what kind of food you want it. I'll give. Tomorrow, 9 to 11, okay, reusable components. How to develop a reusable components, I'm sharing with you. Please come and I'll be preparing one question, putting in the in-class this also. Right? There is a theoretical things about the socio-technical systems and all. So we'll try to see all these things, theoretical stuff in next class starting from Monday. Right? System engineering process, what all things are involved in that, right? Then we'll look into disciplines involved in system engineering, theoretical stuff. The system design process, we already know, right? All that things we'll get into. Architecture, what exactly architecture, speak about that, right? Quickly we'll cover, if possible, tomorrow itself, and we'll say bye-bye to the first part of, right, first chapter. There is second part, critical systems. That also, if tomorrow we complete reusable components early, we'll get into that also, right? The questions given at the end of the chapter, please go through that. I request CR, some of those things you can copy it in our in class when we go through that. So with this we come to the end of today's session. Please wait. I'll stop sharing the screen as many as 54 students have participated. CR find out who are the other people not joining the regular class. Not a good things, right? So tomorrow at 9 o'clock, sharp 9 o'clock, we will meet. Okay, same link, same everything, right? And if you have any questions, you can ask tomorrow also, right? CR can prepare all the questions, put it in our in-class discussion. Red colored one is a critical things in a in-class question bag. Black color, routine theoretical stuff.
Okay.
Ashish, can I stop now?
Yeah, yes. No problem.
Right. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we are meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And important thing, I'll be sharing how to build reusable components. And that will be the major programming assignment to you all people. Right. Bye.